جبين وعلى جميع أنبياء الله والمرسلين. Brothers and sisters, today is our Q&A session. Do you have any questions before we start with the list that we have? Any questions? Okay, let's get started with the questions I got. The first question is about heresy. Why do we have heresy in Ashura? Heresy is not something that we invented. It has been there. I'm talking about the food itself. The heresy is mentioned in very old books. It goes back to, let's say, Sheikh Al-Kulayni in his book Al-Kafi. That's about 1,100 years ago. And it was narrated that heresy is something full of good nutritions, benefits for your body. If you feel weak, eat it. Definitely now the ingredients might change a little bit here and there, but the concept of heresy as food is mentioned as the food of the prophets, according to some narrations. Now, why it is in Ashura? In Ashura, as you know, when we remember Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and we remember the hardships that Ahl al-Bayt as-Sabaya went through, starving, hungry, thirsty, and what happened during the 10th of Muharram. And because Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam ordered us to be kind to people so people can love Ahl al-Bayt, as a charity on the behalf of Ahl al-Bayt and for the sake of Allah, we give out food to tell people that the blessing of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the blessing of Ahl al-Bayt, it's something continuous. Do not listen to some sick people that claim this is shirk. No one does the food as shirk. We do it for the sake of Allah and in the name of Allah, and we say, God, please accept this reward and give it to Imam Hussein, to Ahl al-Bayt. And this is sadaqah, is a charity. So this is the story in a nutshell. Now, if some people at a point, they cannot afford the heresy because it is good food, they offer other stuff. They give out water, sweet, baskotu raha, you know. Baskotu raha, they say, people in Jabal Amil in Lebanon, they used to do it because in order to prepare for heresy, everybody is going to say, oh, this is Shia people. They are making food for the sake of Allah on behalf of Imam Hussein. So to avoid this, and especially some, they used to be poor, so they invented something light, like a snack. If you cannot afford, you know, inviting people for food, at least you offer what you can handle, like a snack. So that was a good, quick snack. This is now the food-wise. Another question is about what is Ashura in a nutshell. I cannot summarize Ashura in a nutshell within a few minutes, you know. But let me tell you exactly some main points that we have to be aware of. Why? Because some people might claim, oh, Imam Hussein committed suicide by going to Karbala. Why Imam Hussein went to Karbala and he knew that some people in Kufa were not honest? How come he went to Karbala and he knew what happened to Muslim bin Aqil, his ambassador to Karbala? Why he kept going to Al-Kufa? Quickly, brothers and sisters, first of all, let's answer the first question. And I need your attention, please, because this is kind of critical. The first question, people ask why Imam Hussein had a revolution against Yazid But Imam Hassan did not have a revolution against Muawiyah. As you know, Muawiyah, he went against Imam Ali, he fought Imam Ali. He manipulated so many things in the Islamic society. He became like a king while we don't have kingdom in Islam, and you know the stories. So why Imam Hassan did not fight Muawiyah? Imam Hassan in the beginning was going to fight Muawiyah. Muawiyah was different than Yazid. Muawiyah, he owned his own media nowadays, propaganda. He was good at it in manipulating others and affecting them in a negative way. He was able to buy the writers, historians, certain tabi'een to be on his side. He offered them money, he offered them authority. He brought people who changed certain concept in hadith. And that's why, brothers and sisters, we see Ali alayhi salam, he had to do so much as a counter attack to what Muawiyah is doing. And that's why we have Nahj al-Balagha. What's Nahj al-Balagha? Sermons of, mainly, it is sermons of whom? If Imam Ali, why he had to do all these sermons? Because the propaganda was so much. So he had to find another way to communicate to people and deliver the proper message and show them the proper Islam and discuss with people what's happening. The propaganda of Muawiyah reached a point that when the people in Damascus, because Muawiyah was in Syria, in Damascus, Imam Ali was in Al-Kufa by the end of his days, Al-Iraq. So when the people of Damascus heard about the death of Imam Ali alayhi salam, the shahada of Imam Ali, and they knew that Imam Ali was praying, and Abdul Rahman bin Muljam assassinated him while he was praying. You know what was the first statement according to some historians? Oh, did Imam Ali used to pray? Imagine. That's a propaganda. He used to accuse Imam Ali that he killed Uthman bin Affan, al-Khalifa al-Thalith, the third Khalifa, Uthman bin Affan. So Muawiyah was able to exhaust the society. So many wars Shia were driven into it, definitely to protect Islam. Imam Ali had a fight with the wife of the Prophet, Sayyida Aisha. He had a fight with her in Ma'rakat al-Jamal, the Battle of Camel. He had a fight with Al-Khawarij. He had a fight with Muawiyah. So many thousands of people, thousands of good Shia were lost. When Imam Hassan came in, he felt the army, his army was weak. Also was affected, portion of it, by the propaganda of Muawiyah. And the third, some people, they were not honest and sincere with Imam Hussein. Either because they want a revenge, something else, or because they did not see the strategic thinking of Imam Hassan. And that's why you hear in history, one of the Shia called Imam al-Hassan, Assalamu alayka ya mudhilla al-mu'mineen, wal-iyadhu billah. You are making al-mu'mineen, adhilla, mudhillin, submitted. So anyway, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, overall, he picked to choose hidna, like as nowadays we call it ceasefire. So people, the Shia, the followers of Ahlul Bayt can recover, can get better. And here is the question. How many years Imam al-Hassan stayed with Muawiyah? About, not stays, I mean, while Muawiyah was alive, like 10 years. Definitely Imam Hassan was not with Muawiyah. He did not agree with him. But he did not revolve against Muawiyah or went against Muawiyah for 10 years. And the conditions of the ceasefire was, if something happened to me, who's going to be in charge after me? Imam Hussein. Muawiyah threw those conditions aside. So Al-Imam Al-Hassan passed away, and he was poisoned by Muawiyah through his wife Ja'da. Ja'da, the wife of Imam Al-Hassan, poisoned Al-Imam Al-Hassan. Allah, do not create a problem, you know. Don't be afraid of your wives. She was a bad lady, okay? She poisoned her husband, Al-Imam Al-Hassan. So now Al-Imam Al-Hussein in charge of Imama. Forget about Al-Khilafah. Imama is something divine. We're not talking about Khilafah is political thing. I'm talking about Al-Imama. Imam Al-Hassan now, he is the assigned Imam. Imam Hassan did not say, you know what, oh, you poisoned Imam Al-Hassan, you poisoned Malik Al-Ashtar, you poisoned this and that, you fought this and that. I'm going to start, you know, having my revolution against you. He did not do that. After 10 years, Al-Imam Al-Hussein stayed without going against Muawiyah as war-wise or fight-wise. Though they had totally different opinions, ideas, this is the path of truthful people, and Muawiyah is just like any other politician nowadays and worse. So the question, as Al-Imam Al-Hassan, or the nutshell here, as Al-Imam Al-Hassan did not go against Muawiyah, also Al-Hussein did not go against Muawiyah. Imam Al-Hussein is still, 20 years, 10 years with Imam Hassan and 10 years after Imam Hassan did not go against Muawiyah. When did the revolution in Imam Hussein started? Started to get together after the death of Muawiyah, and when Muawiyah assigned Yazid as Khalifa. Then Imam Hussein said, وَمِثْلِي لَا يُبَايِعُ مِثْلَهُ. A person like me, Imam Hussein, I will never shake hands with Yazid. Why? We have here, Muawiyah was good in, attracting people, he knows how to run the show. He was bad, but Yazid was full of evil. You cannot communicate with, you cannot shake hands with. A person with no morals, no principles. In the time of Yazid, they say he killed Al-Imam Al-Hussein. He went against Al-Medina and raped women and killed the kids and killed men, and he destroyed Al-Kaaba. Within a few years, he was ruler for like about 3 years or so. He did all these crimes. Thousands of women were raped in Al-Medina of the Prophet by the order of Yazid. So he was a very bad person. Who predicted that? Al-Imam Al-Hussein. Way before all that happened, he predicted that. So he said, no, we cannot vote for Yazid. So he left Al-Medina because he knew they were going to attack him, most likely, and he went to Mecca. In the time of Muawiyah, while Muawiyah was alive, the people in Kufa used to send letters to Imam Hussein, please come to Kufa and be our leader. He got from the people of Kufa 12,000 letters. Every letter is calling Imam Hussein to come to Kufa. So this is during what? The time of Muawiyah. When Muawiyah passed away, Imam Hussein went to Mecca. Before he finished his Hajj, he left Mecca and started going to Al-Kufa. Now the question would be, was that a smart move? Well, look at it. I'm getting letters from people, 12,000 letters and more. Huge tribes or clans are calling me to show up and lead. I send my ambassador, my relative Muslim bin Aqil, to check what's happening in Al-Kufa. He was very rational. He did not just create a revolution. He was very rational, and he was building up the next steps and structure, how he's gonna get rid of Yazid. And he made his slogans very clear. ألا ترون إلى الحق لا يعمل به وإلى الباطل لا يتناهى عنه. Don't you see people, they don't care about the truth anymore, and they are joining batil, haram things, careless about Islam, careless about the principles in our terminologies. And he said, إنما خرجت لطلب الإصلاح في أمة جدي. I am going in my movement, moving on, لطلب الإصلاح. I'm a reformer. Because these people are destroying the sunnah of the Prophet. They are destroying the teachings of the Prophet. So it was not a personal thing between Yazid and Imam al-Hussein. It was about Islam. So he sent Muslim bin Aqil. While he was going to Al-Kufa, he got the news that the Kufa people betrayed him. Imam Hussein kept going. Now, why did he keep going? That's a big question. Didn't he know what's happening to Kufa? So many people on the road told Imam al-Hussein, oh Imam Hussein, those people, they hate you. They love you when it comes to emotions, but their swords against you. The hearts with you, but their swords against you. Imam Hussein did not listen. And if someone does not understand any strategic movement of Imam Hussein, he used to tell them, Sha Allah yarani qad sha Allah yarahunna sabaya. Why, Imam Hussein, you are taking the kids and the family, women with you? He said, it's by the will of God. I don't have time to discuss to you. Either because he wanted to keep it private, or some people, no matter what you tell them, they are not going to be convinced. So, but he made it very clear in other places. This is a movement to reform things. Then on his way to Al-Kufa, after he knew what's happened to Imam Muslim bin Aqil, he kept going. On his way, he was stopped by Al-Hur bin Yazid. And because of that, he was stuck in a place called Karbala, and that battlefield happened. Now the question would be, is this movement considered irrational? No, it is not. He paved the road, he was listening to the people. If he does not say, oh people, we're going to help you, you know. Imagine now, Imam Hussein got the 12,000 letters and he said, you know what, I don't believe you, throw it in, you know, in recycle bin. People will blame him. Will blame him. Secondly, if Muslim bin Aqil were not to be killed, they say, according to historians, the whole Karbala will be different. The whole Karbala will. And third, there is a big chance if Imam Hussein were to reach Kufa before Ibn Ziyad, people would have listened to Imam Hussein, and we avoided all that bloodshed. Fourth, does the Imam Hussein know about his destiny? That, inshallah, what we are going to be discussing in upcoming time, because we are running out of time. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوة. I have one more question quickly. Can I take 2 minutes from your time? Is that fine? Or you're tired? Fine? Okay, don't find me, okay. We have a question that in Karbala, some people during Aza, they say in the last minutes of Karbala, Al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin, as you know, was sick in Karbala. He did not get involved in the battlefield. It was the wisdom of Allah to make him very sick during that day. Was very sick. Some Qurra al-Aza, they say, Imam Zayn al-Abidin, when he heard the voice of Imam Hussein asking for help, ala hal min nasirin yansuruna, they say Imam Zayn al-Abidin gathered himself together, though he was very sick and tired, and he went to defend Imam Hussein. So Umm Kulthum could be Zainab or could be Kulthum. Now this is not my research. Kulthum was standing by, Imam Hussein told Kulthum, please send him back to the tent before he got killed, because if he is killed, the descendants, the lineage, the offspring of Al-Muhammad will be gone. Where is the problem of this narration? First of all, Zayn al-Abidin was very sick. Secondly, who narrated this? It was narrated by Al-Majlisi fi al-Bihar. Al-Bihar is about 400 years old. Yani, the author of Al-Bihar, Ridwanullah alayhi, passed away around 1100 Hijri. Karbala happened in 60 Hijri. Yani you have more than 950 years difference. So we ask Al-Majlisi, where did you get this narration from? The other source, maybe the oldest, will be for Maqtal al-Khawarizmi, Al-Hafidh al-Khawarizmi. Maqtal al-Khawarizmi, that person passed away about 560 Hijri, around this, I don't remember. So he wrote his book after about 500 years from the battle of the Karbala. So we ask al-Khawarizmi, where did you get this from? Khawarizmi, he said, لا ينقطع نسل محمد عليهم السلام صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. And al-Bihar, al-Majlisi said, لا ينقطع نسل آل محمد. So as history-wise, as resources, we don't have authentic or reliable, at least reliable, convincing resource. Why I'm saying this? Because the oldest book did not mention anything about this event. Al-Irshad, the Sheikh al-Mufid, he did not talk about it. Al-Tabari did not talk about it. Al-Tusi did not talk about it. And so many other previous books did not talk about it. So Al-Khawarizmi, where did he get it from? Why we are questioning this? Because the story does not add up. In Karbala, according to many historians, Al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin was married and he had a kid. His name is Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, and he was about 3 years old. So if you are telling me by killing Imam Zayn al-Abidin, the descendant of Imam Hussein will be up, that's against other facts. So therefore we question this riwayah and we say, no, this does not make sense. Especially it's only narrated by books that we do not rely much on. As you know, Al-Bihar has good narrations and it has weak narrations. We have as scholars, Asif Muhsini, according to his methods, the whole Al-Bihar will be like about 3 volumes. If I want to use authenticity of hadith and certain methodologies. So that was my point regarding this. Some scholars might say, oh no, Imam Hussein meant, yani, if Imam Zayn al-Abidin got killed, Al-Baqir would be killed. Who said so? Why? Yani, if Imam Zayn al-Abidin was in the battlefield, they are going to kill the Imam al-Baqir at 3 years old? But they killed Imam al-Hussein and they never killed Imam Zayn al-Abidin. They killed the brothers of Imam Hussein and never killed the uncles of Imam Zayn al-Abidin, and they did not kill Zayn al-Abidin. Imam Zayn al-Abidin was going with the Sabaya, and no one killed him. So this is something we have, brothers and sisters, I say here, we have always to question why and what's the proof. When something is irrational, do not just say, I get used to it. When something is irrational and does not add up, ask for evidence, ask for proof. Use your analytical thinking, use your rational thinking. And that's the beauty of at-tashayyu'. This is the beauty when we say we are followers of Ahlul Bayt. I'm sorry I took much of your time. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يرزقنا شفاعة الحسين وأن يجعلنا من شيعة الحسين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وإلى أرواح موتانا وموتاكم نهدي ثواب منطقنا ومجلسنا مع سورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.